Wealth, yoga, wine. Welcome to my podcast. This is Valerie Hale. Open your gifts. Bryce Pritchett says, open your gifts. What are your gifts? Talents. Your talents is what Bryce Pritchett says. Mary Morrissey and Bob Proctor and Bryce Pritchett would also say, of your higher faculties, which are your talents, your gifts, your imagination is the most essential gift. Bryce Pritchett also says that those high achievers who have reached success in spite of their circumstances have done it just because of that. They are high achievers in spite of their circumstances, their everyday circumstances. And what this means is invoke your imagination. Tyler Perry, whom you probably all know, has a media empire. He is vastly talented and successful today. But growing up, he had a horrible childhood. And what he did was he used his imagination to escape. He would go to a place downstairs underneath their house, and he created a little room for a little boy. When his dad would start abusing him or else his mom, he would escape and he would go downstairs and create in his mind this beautiful big field that was covered in large wheatgrass that he and his friends could hide in and play and use their imagination to escape their daily circumstances. And he was lucky enough to virtually meet Oprah Winfrey. Just saw a program on television where she talked about when you have really difficult life, learn how to write about your experiences because it's cathartic. And I love that he says, I didn't even know how to spell the word cathartic. I had to go to the library and ask them and then look it up in the dictionary. And he began to write. He began to write so much that his dream became a playwright. And even though at the beginning, for 6 long years, he felt like a failure, circumstances finally changed for him where he became well-known and successful after 6 long years. And now, of course, he has a media empire, and he's helping other people who are also having a difficult time in their life. Simone Biles, 4 Olympic gold medals. She is a gymnast, and I have her video in the podcast notes. It's incredible what she is doing with her life. Also, a very difficult childhood. She was abused by her gymnastic coach for years. And she will tell you she never, ever let that get in the way of her being a highly successful gymnast. They have routines named after her, the Biles. She's doing incredible work on gymnast, the bar, whatever it's called. These 2 people alone are such a guiding light for those of us who are facing difficult circumstances. And Bryce Pritchett said this is what's so important is for us to employ our imagination by writing. There's an important connection between writing and your mind. Bryce Pritchett also says that you have to let go. The important thing, as Tyler Perry will tell you, is it was important to take small steps every day to relieve this anguish, and it happened, and you have to move past it. You accept it, and eventually, to really open up the floodgates for success, forgive. Bryce Pritchett has a book that's called Quantum Leap Strategies. I strongly suggest you get this. 12 steps. They're all easy, kind of. But one of them that's so important is write down at the end of your grateful journal, which you want to have, you could call it your imagination journal, Write down, I am taking quantum leaps. I know exactly where I'm going. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know exactly where I'm going. And this is where the writing comes in and letting go. Kundalini Yoga. We just experienced a full moon, and my virtual teacher, Howard Prakash, when you go to my website, shayvalerie.us, she just did a super pink full moon, and it's in Scorpio. I don't pay any attention to astrology, but this was important because this full moon that we're experiencing is teaching us how to let go. And you do specific kriyas to help you let go of the past, so that the future is going to be welcomed. That means you learn how to open your heart. That means you start to have an open mind. Kundalini Yoga is the oldest yoga. It is the only yoga I have ever studied. I'm a yoga snob. I don't do anything else. I don't know about any other yogas, so don't ask. But go to my website and enroll in Howard Prakash's classes. They're really phenomenal. Been studying for 26 years, Kundalini Yoga. Wine. It's hot outside, and it's starting to get pretty warm in New York and other areas of the United States. Chilled wines, red chilled wines. I see people drinking red wine in the summer. I don't understand that. However, chilled red wines are very refreshing. A few examples are Cru Beaujolais. Two of my favorite are Amour and Brouilly. When I say chilled red wines, you're just going to get these wines and you're going to put them in the refrigerator. Now, if you have a nice basement like I used to have, you can keep them in the basement because your basement is chilled. When you go to Europe, they all come up from the cellar and they are all at 55 degrees. They're pleasantly chilled. Even the white wines are right at 55 degrees, which is where they should be. Another choice besides the French wines is Lambrusco. Another choice is Lambrusco. Lambrusco is, of course, Italian. It is frizzante, which means slightly fizzy. That's delicious. It's fun. That wine is great as a patio pounder, we like to call it, a coiffeur. Of course, it's going to be great with olives. It's going to be great with spaghetti and meatballs, even though I don't eat meat, so I would just have spaghetti. Great pizza wine. Absolutely great pizza wine. Very simple wine, very simple foods. The last one is sangria. Make your own sangria. This is so easy. Get a decent bottle of red wine. I do suggest something from Spain, a Tempranillo, but you can have another kind of red wine. I don't suggest a domestic wine unless that's all you had, but I would use a European wine. Don't spend a lot, $10, $11, $12, and you need to have brandy or a neutral spirit and fresh fruit. I always use citrus. I like to put it in the sun. That's how I was taught by my former French husband. You may need to add a little bit of honey to sweeten it up. Some people use a juice. I'm not a real fan of using juices because to me, they have more sugar and it's going to discolor it. I would choose honey to sweeten it up a little bit. To wrap this up, open your gifts. And your gifts are your talents. And the way you're going to find out your talents is your imagination. And you're going to write every day, several times a day, Price Pritchett says, and talk to yourself about what you really want. Even if you're working a 9-to-5 job and you have to do all these Zoom meetings, start using your imagination for the life that you really deserve. Kundalini Yoga, time to let go. This is what this full moon's about. It's spring, so everything is new for us. So start looking at bringing newness to your life. Chilled wines. Yeah, the French one. Cru Beaujolais, my favorite. Lambrusco, so much fun. And sangria, yeah, just send me an email. I'll teach you how to make a good sangria. In conclusion, I am not a life coach. I'm not a consultant. I do this podcast to help hundreds of people every day. Merci, au revoir.